Hello there, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Stefan Love, and today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the newest AP Top 25 poll, as well as a few predictions for college football week 2. So as you can see over here, this is the new Top 25 poll that just released yesterday. So let's just give it a quick rundown. At number one, you have Ohio State. At number two, you have Penn State. At number three, you have LSU. At number four, you have Georgia. And rounding out the top five, you have Miami. At number six, we got Oregon. At seven, we have Texas. At eight, we have Clemson. At nine, we have Notre Dame. And then rounding out the top 10 is South Carolina. So let's talk about the top 10 for a quick moment. Obviously, Ohio State, it was the right choice to go at number one for them because, like, a lot of people said that Texas versus Ohio State was going to be whoever wins this game was going to be the number one team in the country, which kind of would have made more sense to let that game just be one versus two in the AP poll, but that's a conversation for another day. Penn State staying at two. I agree. I think I agree with it. I know some people thought. Well, I'll get to that when we talk about LSU. But yeah, I think Penn State should being at number two is great. LSU being at number three. Now there were some rumblings that people said that LSU probably should have been ranked, should be the number two team in the country, or hell, even be ranked in the top, be like the number one ranked team in the country. Now I didn't agree with the number one ranked team in the country. However, I could have agreed with some of the folks putting LSU at two, although I thought three is the perfect ceiling for them. But anyways, Georgia being at four, they moved up to one after beating South Harmon last week. Or well, let me put some more respect on. Who was it? Marshall. I'll put some more respect on Marshall. They were wait, was it Marshall? That yes, it was Marshall. I'll put some respect on Marshall. Marshall isn't a South Harmon school, but they are a G5 school that just won the Sun Belt. Miami being at five, they jumped up 5 spots after beating Notre Dame on Sunday night. Oregon, I believe they moved up 1 spot. So yeah. Texas drops from one down to seven. Now, if you were to ask me, had Texas lost to Ohio State, I would have said, maybe they dropped down to four, maybe five. I didn't expect them to drop all the way down to seven. But dropping down to seven, especially considering their performance was not very good. Arch Manning did not look very good. But whatever. At eight, we have Clemson. Clemson dropping down 4 spots after losing to LSU at home in a game that I missed most of, but for the most part, I don't know. I want to say I thought I had a thought in my mind, but I don't. Notre Dame dropping down to nine from six. Solid little drop for them. And South Carolina leaping into the top 10 after being ranked, I believe, 14th or 13th last week after a solid performance against Virginia Tech. Again, that was a game I didn't watch on TV, but I did listen to it on my phone. So I didn't really have the visual experience of watching them. But it wasn't like a quote unquote like eye popping performance from South Carolina because they did kind of struggle a little bit, I think. I don't know. I listened to the game, I didn't watch it. At number 11, you have Illinois. I think they moved up a couple spots, or maybe they stayed there. Arizona State, they're at 12. At 13th, we have Florida. They moved up 2 spots. And Florida State. Now, I think this is kind of bold of the pollsters putting Florida State in the top 15 like that after dominating Alabama, which it was a dominating performance by them. But having them jump into the top 15, I think that's a bit of a bold, a bold move by the AP. Like maybe putting them at like a 18, 19, maybe a 20 is more understandable. But hey, we'll see. Michigan going up to 15th. You have Iowa State at 16th, SMU at 17, Oklahoma at 18. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think none of this changed because I think Oklahoma was at 18 during week 1. At 19th we have Texas A&M. At 20th we have Ole Miss. At 21 we have Alabama, and at 22 we have Tennessee. Now I think this should be reversed. Tennessee, Alabama, they both played unranked ACC teams last week, and Tennessee won their game by double digits. Alabama got dominated by double digits. Tennessee, in my opinion, should at least be 21 and ahead of Alabama. But hey, whatever. At 23, we have Indiana. At 24, we have Texas Tech. And at 25, we have Utah. And as you can see, there is no G5 representation here. So, anyways, that is the AP Top 25 and my thoughts that I gave throughout the rundown. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now let's get into the very few college football predictions I want to give to you. I think I have like 5 or 6 for you guys. At noon, we have Iowa State hosting Iowa. You know, it's El Clasico, as it's called by everybody. You know, a little mockery of El Clasico between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Um, I think I'm going to take Iowa State in this game. I don't have pretty much to say about this game because it involves Iowa Hawkeye football. But also, Iowa State, they're 2-0. They look pretty solid in their first 2 outings. So, yeah, give me the Cyclones to get the victory. Also taking place at noon, we have SMU hosting Baylor. SMU, they come into this game favored by 3-0. They won their opening game last week. And Baylor, they come into this game on 1 after being beat by Auburn last week. And I will say this, Baylor, while I did pick Baylor to win last week and they lost, they looked kind of good. I want to say it's kind of hard to say if a team looks good or if a team looks bad because it's just one game. It's week 1, but I think I'm gonna pick Baylor once again to probably pull the upset. So give me the Baylor Bears to win this game. Next, we have Ole Miss versus Kentucky, 3:30 on ABC. Um, Ole Miss comes into this game favored by 10.5. This is gonna be a road game. Did I mention that? I probably did. I don't know. Sorry. Um, I'm gonna take Ole Miss to win. So yeah, give me the Rebels. Next, we have for the first time in 14 years, we have the revival of the border war, Kansas versus Missouri. And I can't wait to sit down and watch this game. This game is probably like the most appeasing game at that 3:30 slot. It's competing with Oregon, Oklahoma State, and what we just talked about last was Ole Miss and Kentucky. I'm gonna pick Kansas to pull off the upset here. I'm not a believer in Missouri. Missouri has kind of been overrated in the past. So yeah, give me Kansas to win. Next, we have Oregon hosting Oklahoma State. You know, there's been some news coming out from both coaches in this game. Mike Gundy throwing shades, although it didn't really appear like there were shades being thrown, about Oregon having like $1 billion to spend on NIL. And then Dan Lanning responding to that by saying, save up your own money and maybe you can get your own players or something like that. Like I just saw a couple of headlines. Give me Oregon to win this game, and give me Oregon to cover. So yeah. And then the night game, the game of the week, the most eye-popping game on the schedule. Oklahoma hosting Michigan. You have two highly talented quarterbacks who have a lot of high potential, who had a great performance during week 1, and they're going to put on a show in prime time. Well, hopefully they put on a show in prime time. I hope this game isn't a blowout. Um, I think I'm going to lean Michigan here. Yeah. Give me the Wolverines to knock off the Sooners on the road. So yeah, give me Michigan to win. And with that being said, if you got through this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Well, comment your thoughts if you have any, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye. Have a good day.